Welcome back, and an unusual start off to our games this evening. However, we are back and we are ready to get back into the game. A rehost was called and was allowed, so we are going to be going through and restarting. But if you remember, Whippet, what we saw in that first round was we saw the first kill it went for in the way of an aerial rise, but then immediately Emergence were able to find 3 kills off the bat. They caught the aggression and they said, right, no, we're going to even things out. And then they started picking up kills and moving forward. So in my opinion, I think that means Emergence, they're going to be able to read into Aerial Rise a little bit more, who are trying to just play it cocky a little bit. At least in that round when they had that one-player advantage. You've got to remember, that was a bit of an anomaly in the kind of Siege landscape, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's an unusual round circumstance with that player disconnecting so early, and then again, I think kind of the overconfidence perhaps that they try to play that super aggressive style, having that initial advantage, and just kind of they got caught out with it. I would say that when we hop back into this, when it's back to 5v5, active it's just going to be a kind of a reset for everyone. There's not going to be anything that we can realistically take from our opening round because it's kind of null and void of just with the circumstance that kind of happened before we got into the action phase.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at it and a kill went through, but honestly, like you've got to think about the kind of butterfly effect, and it's the way I approach a lot of my Siege analysis, because I think about one little thing that just has impact, and then you can track it throughout a round. I think that opening kind of loss of a player, you look at Aerial Rise, suddenly they're playing, oh, Emergence, sorry, suddenly they're playing it a lot more comfortably. Oh, Aerial Rise, they're playing a lot more aggressively. They're playing into Emergence really, really well, and then they don't have as many players for the end. Then the 3v3 comes through, and Emergence's defense could just start weighting down. Getting into this game, this round, with the same operators coming through on the same site. Well, not all the same operators, actually. We do have a Twitch on the side and a Blackbeard, but still, going in with similar operators on the same site, you're looking at it and you're simply saying, okay, well, what's going to go different? I think there's a lot of things that can go the same and a lot of things that could go different. Most importantly, Aerial Rise, they need to play it safer. If that round is given anything, it's that they need to just be careful and comfortable when it comes to actually getting map control. Don't be swinging very, very aggressive. Ryrai picked up 2 kills in one gunfight.
One like little red flag in my head right now is this blitz pick on Og, right? It was flashed, then he decided, I'll go 0, I'll flash that 6 pick on towards that blitz. This, I don't quite know what they're thinking, but I like it. You know what? You get what I'm saying? I don't advise this. I don't think it's the best strategy. It's not strategically responsible, but I like it.
It's gonna be fun. Even if you're not an IGL, you look at this and you simply say, okay, there's potential. There's gonna be a lot of fun behind this. Right now, we're gonna see Aerial Rise are gonna be spawning in and looking towards his study side. Immediately, I'm starting to think, okay, well, they want to get study control. They want to spill out into that bookshelf area. In doing so, they're really going to want to find that opening kill. Talon, though, is going to be starting things off, finding Spiker on that roam clear. Just taking it away. The sludge is gone. The frag grenades have left them. Now, Aerial Rise, all that remains is just a 4-player push coming through study. They have the blitz moving in. They have the information coming through. But right now, Org has to try and smoke things out. The ADS will burn it. And Aerial Rise, they're already feeling like sardines. That bookshelf area, it's a key position to take control of to relieve that pressure. Right now, C4s, impact, ill-timed swings, it can all shut them down, which is why Org is pushing. Wood Sosa's able to find 1 kill, able to find another. Now they're starting to explode out, opening this bookshelf area. Valkyrie cameras will be taken away. The smoke canister will follow. But Rift's there with a kill to shut things down. Son of Finn has a refrag, but is it too little too late? Wood Sosa's just stepping up in a huge way, finding a 3rd kill and now going for the plant.
What an explosion there. They were backed into a corner and they found a way to explode into life here. Talon now left alone against the odds. And well, there is Og. Wasn't able to get the flash off, but when you're being bared down by that blitz, all hope is drained in that situation. Oh, well, a very, very interesting but dominant and strong start from Aerial Rise. And this is exactly what I was kind of thinking they bring in, a level of aggression. They're just going to play around their mechanical ability. And the operator lineups that we've seen with that blitz getting brought out shows that they are confident taking alternate picks and relying on one player to stand up tall and find the kills to get that entryway. And well, Wood Sosa finding 3, splitting that site in half, cracking open the defensive emergence, and ultimately just handing his team that round on a silver platter.
The big thing I need to point out is being able to relieve that pressure on Study, because you think about it, he's stuck in that position. Well, there's information. There's people in Bookshelf and people in Aviator telling you that they have that Study control, that you can use the C4, you can come below, you can get aggressive on the swings when nobody's looking. But no, Aerial Arise, they realized they had to get out of there, they had to start getting into the driver's seat, and that's what Wood Sosa was able to do. The question is, as we move towards this trophy statue, is that going to be possible? Are they going to be able to find this? We're going to see a couple of players that can go on the roam, but I feel like they're going to have to play a very passive roam against a team like Aerial Arise, because we saw exactly what happened. They found an opening kill. That was just a spark for Aerial Arise to say, okay, they've got a roam, we need to go. And if they're going for such fast takes, if they're just clearing areas, winning their gunfights and moving on, maybe playing it that a little bit smart can get you going, give you a really big opportunity. But Son of Finn has decided to take the fight to Aerial Arise in a different way. The Boss G Echo spawn peak is coming through, but at the moment there's nobody there. All of the Aerial Arise players are heading all the way over towards that towards that balcony, and we're going to be seeing Son of Finn taken away on a... What? Hold on. The Glass went onto that little position, and he used that angle to take away that Boss G ACOG. That is... You know what? I'll leave it there. Very nicely played. Very good game sense.
Okay, the shot, impressive. But nice shotting himself. Yes.
Cringe.
No. There's... How could you call such a wonderful
I will
act?
call you out if you do that to me.
I will.
If you shoot me and nice shot yourself, I'm gonna call you out. But anyway,
Don't know how we're how are we ever going to end up on a server against each other is the bigger question. But this is going to be an interesting engagement as well. Jax is going to swing and instantly send the dap to the Forever Box. Wood Sosa once again, that name showing up with a F2 in hand, just being chaotic and destructive. Talon looks to be aggressive and battling away, but August there to say, nope, shut you back down, send you down the stairs. You got one, you're not going to find two, but well. Oh, that's the Jaeger getting a second kill in the round, leveling us out to 2 versus 2. And these rounds are at breakneck pace, but Wood Sosa still in this fight. So far, he's been the tormentor of this defensive roster. And a great pre-fire there at the G8. Finds that kill. Oh, no! Right. A beautiful read of the SMG-11. Just out of range of that 12 gauge there. And Wood Sosa pops up yet again. Finds the smoke as that toxic canister is en route for delivery. A great round yet again by Aerial Arise, but the big overarching theme is this is a ruthless, unrelenting level of aggression that they're bringing out. This is oppressive feeling from them. Put yourself in the shoes of Emergence. Everything they peak, there's players there. Every kill they get instantly traded off. When they try something cheeky initially, they lose that out instantly. This is a horrific feeling. There's so much dominance being sort of in that aggression from these 2 early rounds. And if they don't stop this, go into triage mode, get a round back, break this momentum, it could be a runaway.
Yeah, now I did say I favor Aerial Arise to really win this out over Emergence, but I expected a little bit more. They've had their gunfights, they've had the ability to really get opportunities on the board, but they're kind of giving stuff away. We saw Son of Finn being taken away very, very easily, not really aware that there was any potential presence coming from that box area. Now, the angle probably would be quite surprised if you predicted it, but just the pressure, you're not expecting it at all. You're so wholly tunnel vision on the spawn peak. Well, that's just not a great thing. Now, Aerial Arise overall, they've been quite aggressive. They've been peaking. They've been taking the fight to Emergence. When realistically, a lot of teams, you'd see them start to stall out. They'd be very careful, very comfortable, just sitting and holding little angles on little positions, expecting the defenders to get aggressive. Not Aerial Arise. They're actively peeking these angles. That's exactly what we saw Org being able to do, finding Talon, then looking for another kill, able to find that as well. But the checks, that was all that's Rai, and you found a kill granted, but you had Wood Sosa, and if there's one thing we've learned so far in this game, you gotta bank on Woods.
I'm just looking at this mirror setup, Brady. I like it. I've never seen this, and I'm so intrigued about what this will do. And once again, Boss Jacob getting brought up, Son of Finn, trying to find some long-range shots with that. His adapter is just in, He's vibing. Straight vibing right now. MP7 in hand. This Zero's MP7 just feels so good. It's the better MP7. Change my mind. You can't.
I gotta ask with it. Do you want me to explain this mirror setup?
Okay, I think
Okay.
my brain might be able to figure this out just a little bit. One mirror, study for information. Next one is makes the kill box down the woods maps, and then the opening on the double wall facing thing lets you fire an angle in the study, which makes that a kill box. Lots of kills happening though. As we talk that through, we're gonna see a flurry in the kill feed. Orange and blue trading back and forth, but Aerial Rise keep their advantage. They struck first. They were able to capitalize. They have a player down though. That's Adapt. Left in that DB no status. I don't think he's going to be getting back in this fight. As well, Jack's going to be hit by that concussion. Bonked on the forehead is Og with a fantastic shot with the LMG there. Finds Rai. And now Jax all alone. 1 versus 3. Technical 1 versus 2. Spots the downed out player, but not going to be able to confirm that kill. With a minute 30 left to go, surely this plant's going to go down. And Og has so much potential for this cover. Adapt just acting like a drone at this point. And there's that confirmation of that kill. Damage getting traded off with some shots landing to the shoulder of the Jaeger. But this round, foregone conclusion. And oh my, Og, you didn't have to do him like that. A clean tap with the pistol from Vault. Was it one shot? Was it one tap? No.
A couple in there, but you've got to give a lot of credit there to the attackers. Basically, Aerial Rise, they looked at this mirror window and they said, okay, well, they have that study position, they have that actual aviator window. Essentially, this means they just go play inside games. They've opened up the wall, the actual study wall itself. Now, it's a lot easier to open up and peek from study and get control of Vault, but realistically, Emergence, they didn't want to have any players there. Basically, the name of the game was they had the vertical holes at the top and study ready and good to get a C4 out, maybe a player down below the C4. Then they have that information on study. They can start swinging it in Aviator. They can start peeking it, finding kills. This leaves the attackers with only 2 options. Realistically, if you're going for a master bedroom take, you either go through Aviator or you push down 90. They decided to go down 90. Emergence tried Rai with a really big effort, but it just wasn't enough. Jack's trying to get those kills as well. No, we're just seeing aggression from Aerial Rise. They're landing shots, they're comfortable, and they know that they can win. Kitchen Dining defense is where Emergence is going to try and put a round on the board, and this makes a lot of sense to me. Simply put, I don't really want to see them keep on trying these sites. It's not been working out for them. Try out something new. They're going to be having that top floor hold. That makes a lot of sense. These frost mats, well, they're just going to be there to really try and hamper this aggression. Which is, I look at and I think, okay, all right, I'll allow it. You know, there's a lot of merit behind it.
There is. I mean, I think when you put yourself in a position of emergence, right? Every round so far has been, well, like just a tidal wave crashing against them. And that pressure must be so unrelenting. So bring a frost mat. Bring something to slow down this push because you know Aerial Rise. If they're going direct, their intent is to get in your face, take fights early, and just look at this approach. Instead of going for a top-down clear, instead of clearing bit by bit from study set, etc., going direct from living room in the mud, and look at this. Adapt gets the opening kill. That's going to find another one. Shaxx there is going to get on the spikers, so he's going to have some fight left in him. But look at this Fulton. August there. Shaxx finds a second one there. Great fight happening now from Smoke, holding the line, and does so even better. Finds number 3. Can he single-handedly hold the line against this? It's going to be a perfect trade-off there. Sonafin gets that kill. Adapt finds a second in this round, and now left alone in a 1 versus 2. And well, there's the Frost to Talon that come round the corner and put him in the grave with the Sterling SMG. 55 seconds, if not, of a round.
Yeah, well, I think that just goes to show the aggression that Aerial Rise want to bring to the table. And Emergence, well, they had something else ready for them. They had those frostbats to slow it down, but that wasn't it. They just used their bullets. They won their ones. They won their gunfights and checks. Able to sit on that area with the SMG-11. The range from it, you're able to find a couple of kills because they're pushing in. They're sprinting in one at a time, realistically. And you're looking at checks. This is the same thing we saw in the first round that was rehosted. We saw an SMG-11 finding 1 kill and finding another. Trophy statue, though, that's where Emergence are going to be returning to. And I've got to look at this as that's more of the exception to the rule at this point with it. Emergence, what else can they really change out? Because Aerial Rise, they've just been winning everything so far. They go to Kitchen Dining, they want to rush. But, well, that's been shut down. It was down to the gunfights. Aerial Rise, they've been looking a lot more consistent, a lot more aggressive, and Emergence a lot more uncertain of where they are, what they need to be holding. Now, no doubt you've seen it, and I'll let you talk about it. This attacking lineup has got a very noticeable member on it.
Yes, got that thinker. And it's not only bringing that finger, it's bringing the Spear 308, right? One of the most questionable weapon choices you can bring. You've got that LMG. You can send hellfire down from your barrel and bear it on your opposition for a very long and sustained time. But they're going to bring the Spear rate, perhaps the more extra mobility the AR brings. And I really am curious to see what they're going to do in this strategy because, you know, you've got your Lion, you've got your Finka. They're going to do something aggressive. Where will their entry point be? Can Emergence fight that initial entry? Try and be disruptive to the flow that Aerial Rise are seemingly playing around. I'll take a very cautious rappel up these windows to get that initial push in. And I wonder if Aerial Rise, in the early droning phase, has spotted out that there could be more of an extensive and more spread out roam presence. As well, Woodsoza has decided to not re-up that position on Twitch, go to Zofia now, leading that charge, and so many guns bearing down towards his main lobby, but no one's fighting to hold control inside a study. They have that C4 potential, of course, with that Valkyrie, but I guess it looks like everyone's waiting for Aerial Rise to make the first move, and this could be a very smart decision because, well, they're an aggressive team. They're going to dive in. They're going to make their entry, and they're not going to be quiet about it. So if you can perhaps collapse in on them when they've committed to an area, this could be a massive success for them. And that pre-placed C4, if set up correctly and the information's there, could be very disruptive.
Yes, now Aerial Rise, we're approaching the position where they want to be pushing through, and a C4 well is going to ring out. Talon's able to find that kill, and well, the rest of Aerial Rise, they aren't able to get in with that aggression they wanted. Org, though, is able to find a kill onto Talon, getting that refrag on that room clear. Aerial Rise are going to have to commit a little bit more time to actually setting themselves up, and Cool Shicey's going to hit the pixel, taking away Adapt. Now we're looking at Aerial Rise. They're revealing Spiker's position. Oh, Son of Finn and Chicey, they're each able to find a kill. Now it's all down to Woodsoza. 7 and 2. Let's see what you're really made of. Able to find a kill onto Son of Finn. Looking for the refrag from Chicey. Will get it. And now it's only a 2 versus 1. If you can isolate the gunfights, you're in a huge position at this point. Right now, though, you're looking at Jax playing behind this shield, has a couple of ADSs. This isn't really a good gunfight to be taking, but you don't have that much choice. The pre-fire will come through on the right side of that deer, but it's not going to land just yet. Instead, opting for the pixel. Isn't going to be able to get it. Jax will be shutting them down, and Emergence will pick up a second round. And that's all from coming down and breaking the momentum of the attackers. Just before they were ready to push, that C4 went off. Just before they start to execute, you saw Cool Shiesty just starting to get aggressive, pre-firing that angle. And, well, Aerial Rise, their seemingly unstoppable lead of 3 rounds to naught, that's being closed down on. Emergence have the opportunity for a 3-3 split, but doing that, they need to deal with Aviator gains. Last time we saw this site, very aggressive 90 play. The first time we saw this site, study. Need I say more?
I'm going to give massive credit to Emergence. The fact is, they waited for the entire push of Aerial Rise to happen. They set up so well for that. From that pre-placed C4 to everyone who was there to collapse and hold their positions, they didn't try to fight on the front lines. They didn't try and be aggressive towards their entries, the entries of Aerial Rise, because, well, every time they've even been in those initial fights, they've lost it out. So they learned from their mistakes. They pulled back a little bit, set the traps, laid them perfectly, and Aerial Rise walked into those traps one by one. And yes, Woodsoza very, very nearly pulled that back. It was a 1v4, got it to 1v2, nearly made it a 1v1, that fight towards the air. So, you know, Aerial Rise still have that massive threat that they could pull it off from an individual perspective, but Emergence, very well played from them to make that adaptation. And it's a very unique style that they're being forced into playing because they have to fight their opposition when the opposition aren't. They have to set traps. They have to prepare for people to set up in certain positions. Very well played from them in that previous round, but can they find that magic and strike that balance again?
The big thing that worries me with it is, well, Emergence are on the defense. This is where the pace setting really comes in as an actual defender. You get to really choose how the game is going to play it out, where your engagements are, and what time they're going to take place, what roam is going to be on the board. Aerial Rise, I feel like they're going to have a much more aggressive defense style, and because of this, they're just going to give Woodsoza a gun like the 416 or the MP5 and say, go have some goddamn fun, you deserve it. The clash being brought out, though, is trying to slow them down still. I think Emergence, they've read into it very nicely, and the pace is something I want to address right now. Woodsoza is already on this zombie door. also has Spiker nearby as well. Yokai will be spotted. The C4 will not be taken down. Shicey's able to get one, gets refragged, and Wood Sosa's ready to rip into action. Looking for a second kill, is unable to get it just yet. The Yokai drone is giving incredible information, just not being spotted at all. Wood Sosa, though, is going to have to back off a little bit. This Sophia has to deal with the clash, and right now Adapt is just not looking. Emergence, the time to break them down is now, and it's not gonna happen. Rift and Org, they're able to find a kill as well. What Sosa gets another. It's all down to Talon in this vault position. Is looking to do something. Can find Rift, but needs to find another. Gets what Sosa, but Adapt is there to shut it down. Aerial Arise will get a 4-2 split, but Emergence, so much potential. They started to get aggressive. They started to get those opening kills. They slowed down Aerial Arise in a wonderful way, but can that translate onto the attack, where the defenders have a lot more freedom of movement?
Emergence, when they played around that, when they were able to get that round back, they made those perfect adaptations. It looked like they perhaps had that secret, but as I mentioned, that level of aggression, the pressure that aggression provides on that defensive side is smothering. And I think that round is a very good example of it. They still had that clash up. They got the early C4 kill. They were in a great position to hold the line. But the fact is that the confidence Aerial Arise possessed, just to take gunfights and go and swing a position going, the likelihood is I'm going to win this. That confidence, that level of aggression smothers and chokes out a defensive hold. And we just saw that perfectly an example right there. Yes, it got scrappy towards the end, but that's because they rushed on in. They took chances. They took a gamble to try and get that kill confirmed and not even worrying about getting that the diffuser planted. That's their identity, I believe, in this matchup, in their style of play. It is smother your opposition out with ruthless aggression. And so far, it's been working out pretty well. A 4-2 split.
Yes. We're looking at this defensive lineup for Aerial Arise, and I'm saying, okay, well, Wood Sosa has taken that Jaeger. That surprised me. I'm expecting Wood Sosa and maybe Spiker, maybe even Rift to really commit to that trophy statue side. They're doing a little bit of reinforcing on the bottom floor. I think Aerial Arise are just going to play this in a very guerrilla style, if that makes sense. And I don't mean like the monkey, I mean like the Icon guerrilla, in the sense of they're looking to just put the pressure on Emergence in so many different ways. Gunfights, positions, power positions that they don't even know are power positions that Emergence don't have to deal with. I think that's a very effective way of dealing with this team. They're structured. They need to slow down Aerial Arise if they want to beat them, and I think Aerial Arise know that. They just want to put so much pressure on that Emergence can't work together. They're taking one-on-one gunfights, and that's where Aerial Arise excel. The drone work will be coming through onto the bottom floor. They're very, very aware of the potential for these roamers. But if you take a look at where they actually are, it's very questionable right now. We're looking at very, very few attackers actually on that site. And this might be the play. Emergence making an entrance into that clay will be backing out just a little bit, but not Talon. Talon's going to be wanting to do a little bit of this flank watch, maybe get that utility on the wall, which isn't there. One of those study doors actually got open all the way. Whip it, but Wood Sosa, well, he's going to be selling himself with a kill into checks.
A very early kill, but look at this. Control inside of the objective is there. That's going to be Zero getting a kill on the Sosa, and side control is here. The massive commit of their own presence has fallen flat for Aerial Arise, and now in a post-plant situation, the advantage sits with Emergence. If that's going to be the Warden trying to fight through smoke, but you've got to stand still to get that visibility, and Talon takes full avail of that. Rift is next to fall, and now 4 versus 2. Aerial Arise, you've got to pull a miracle out of your hat here. It's going to be a tricky one as Rai finds one on the Spiker. Now it's all down to Og in a 1 versus 4, and it's the pressed SMG-11 to brawl with surely not 20 seconds that we hit critical. It's going to be a nasty, nasty fight indeed. Finds one! A great shot, nearly reached perfectly into another one, but sadly, low magazine reserves are there, and Rai finds the opportune moment to strike and shuts down Og and finds the round victory for Emergence. But still, what was that commitment to her own presence? We saw so many people downstairs, and that left Maps free. Just they were able to waltz on in, get that kill. All right, let's plan. We've got side control. Let's force the opposition to come to us. Let's flip the timer for working for the defense to working for us, and it worked out perfectly. 1 round away from tying us up back to a level playing field in Aerial Arise. I have a feeling they're going to still commit to this extended roam play. I think they're not going to change their identity too much, but they might be a little bit more punchy on their aggression.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very good way to approach it. I feel like Aerial Arise, they don't want to commit so many players off site because, like you said, as soon as we saw Wood Sosa get 1 kill, calls it out, gets back onto site, and is like, okay, cool, we got an advantage. No. Suddenly Zero's involved, able to find that kill onto you and onto Adapt as well. Aerial Arise are returning to this position, and like you said, I don't think they're going to be going for that roam. And the choice of getting Spiker onto the mirror rather than that Warden makes a lot of sense. Probably going to see a very similar mirror setup to what we saw before. I feel like that's the approach a lot of teams want to take with it, because they'll look at it, they'll say, we can get information on 2 sites, on 2 key power positions, Study and that Aviator. You have a players over towards Bookshelf, you know that your flank is protected. Roam game over towards 90, and this angle that we see right now coming out from Spiker, and you have a lot of information and a lot of control, and most importantly, the kill boxes that we talked about. And I believe when last time we talked about the kill boxes, a huge flurry of frags went through that corner. Emergence so on the attack. What are they going to do when approached with this issue? Because this was their setup, surely they should have a plan to deal with it.
You at least want to hope so. When a team brings a very similar strategy to what their opposition were bringing, you gotta hope the counters are there. A really extended use of this Gemini Replicator, gathering a massive amount of information, but no one's there to act on it. Why is no one following that Gemini Replicator? It forces you to shoot at it. When it's the first thing to enter a room, you should have someone behind that. Always have someone to act on information the moment you have it. Otherwise, that information ages very quickly in a game like Siege. Look at this Adapt. He's just sitting, waiting for prey. Is what Wood Sosa. Opening kill through that vertical angle. That should have been droned out. That should have been spotted, but they didn't know. And that's going to be Rift to find another one for his team. Get that advantage to a 5 versus 3. Oh, and that was a shot. A great one. Dropping that diffuser out by that balcony. And this downstairs take, this attempt to clear from this lobby up the main stairs, has somewhat fallen flat yet again. They perhaps thought they could pull off the same thing. Rift, though, gets very aggressive, perhaps overzealous, so, and he's going to pay the ultimate price. In the forever box he goes, but a minute 40 left in this round, and it's a 4 versus 3. Favorite Aerial Arise on the defensive side, and this smoke. Og is just going to get aggressive. He's got that suppressed SMG-11. He wants to send some people to the grave, but he's going to be the one lowered now 6 feet deep. And that's Rai to shut him down and get us back to level playing field. 3 versus 3, a tricky fight, and Talon wins it out. That's going to be an opportune moment to strike, as now the advantage sits with the attacking side. This round is all action so far. We only have a minute 15 left to go.
Yes, right now we're looking at Chucks. You have bookshelf control. You've got to start pushing through the rest of Emergence on that bottom floor. That's not the place to be. Like you said, you want to follow up these Geminis. With Sosa, though, wanting to send this Chucks over towards the same place where the people who sent you that mouse bat are going to be heading. But no, Iana's going to move in. That's when we're going to see Adapt strike. Able to find 1 kill, just pulls back. Realizes the diffuser is down. We have control. Rai finds with Sosa. It's a 2 versus 1, but a lot of map control in favor of Adapt. Goes over towards that Study side, finds the head of Talon. No, that's not who you want to be you don't want to be losing if you're Emergent. Rai's going to have to expose himself to get that diffuser, and is going to have to fight the 1 versus 1. Adapt has that P10 running and a C4, and all the sightlines needed. I think Rai knows this because they're playing by the pool table, looking for the gunfight against Aerial Arise. You're already in a losing position, and there is Adapt to shut it down. Aerial Arise, very nicely played, but there's a lot of things on both teams that I'm very, very concerned about. Most importantly, Emergence. They realized that a 5 versus 3, or a 4 versus 3, that they only had 1 player about to push in with the diffuser alone into Study, and I gotta question that in a little bit. Huge effort from Adapt, but why are we seeing Aerial Arise as aggressive? Why is Rift sprinting through that Study area when you know there's probably gonna be somebody outside on that balcony? Regardless, so Aerial Arise, when you take a look at this round history, well, very, very dominant, and looking to push us onto match point with it. 6-3, maybe even 7-3. Trophy statue, I think this might be the place to do it.
I have to agree with you on that one. Just from what I just saw on the attacking side from Emergence, their use of information tools, like drones in that Gemini Replicator, was very good. They were able to use them to get that initial information, but there was nothing here to strike on it. Whether it was in the early phases of that round or later on when you needed to execute, they were getting information, but they weren't acting upon it. And that is a very, very critical mistake on a map like Villa when there's so many areas, there's so many positions, nooks and crannies. You can never drone the full extent of this map. It's so difficult to do so. But you need to have someone acting on drones, because when that drone's shot out, guess what that means? The player behind it can act on that, try and get that pick. If that Gemini baits out some shots, the exact same story. They need to rely on that on their entries, especially when you're fighting against a team who are so aggressive, and having that information on them, it's going to be a little bit tricky and fleeting, because I'd imagine they're not going to miss their shots on drones. And the moment they see one, they might send it to the Shadow Realm.
Shadow Realm, man. It's kind of sus. Adapter's going to be taking quite a bit of pressure on this road. And in doing so, well, Emergence, they're going to be getting that Yana, and now they are going to be following it up with the Zephyr. Big thing for me right now, though, they don't really know where Adapt is. These flank cams, they're not in place. They don't realize how big of a problem Adapt can be. Now that Woods has just decided to join the party, a real issue has just started to present itself. Aerial Arise, they have been given the opportunity and the time to adjust their defense. That's why we're seeing Woods taking this position. Adapt over towards that 90 area, the drone comes through, but Talon's going to be able to find a kill onto them. You take away the Jaeger, the impact fragger for Aerial Arise, and Adapt is wanting to get the refrag. Thinks better of it, and pulls back. 2 minutes on the clock. Aerial Arise, they have to play it safe. Emergence, they've got an advantage. They have time, they've got map control, but now they need to get ready for this execute. A lot of obstacles are in their way. Adapt over by this B side. You have a God also, or just waiting, begging for someone to peek in with that SMG-11. Right now, Emergence taking their time. They realize a very, very tentative position. Things can go very good or very bad while they're right here.
That opening kill from Talon, the biggest contributing factor to that was the hot drone.
That word. Come on, man.
Contribute what?
Contributing will be Adapt getting a kill onto Talon, actually. I'll move on. I'll let you play blissful in ignorance, but the diffuser's gone down, Whippet.
It really has. That diffuser is now left in a bit of no man's land. The trade-off happens. Og's going to get another kill. Son of Finn's next to fall. That mirror window stands tall, very tall right now, and it's going to be the only front line forming up. Adapt's going to get another kill. Second in the round. Ray falls. And a very tricky position to find yourself in. It's the sniper. 90 swings the corner, finds the kill, but not the second one. And well, everyone's going to be storming in towards that F2000. And that's going to be 2 kills in rapid succession. As now 1 versus 2. 35 seconds remain. A very tricky position to find yourself in. But will the aggression of Aerial Arise be their Achilles heel? Will they push into the waiting sight? And Zero looks away just perhaps. Will they be able to capitalize on this player? Yes, they are! Adapt falls! The quad kill required for the clutch, and 20 seconds left to work it. Will they be able to do so? That shield in a great position right now. Really difficult, really hard to fight against that shield. With 10 seconds left to go, tries to get this plant down. Pulls off of it, however. Worried about that push coming in. Doesn't have lots of time to work with now. Has to stick this as we're getting close to 000. And here we go, the plant's going to go down. Yes, it is now. Post-plant situation, a 1v1. Zero versus Mirror. Rift, what work can he do? That mirror window is going to reveal his position. He's got to play a gamble. He's got to make this a 50-50 peak. Swings deep into the air, but Zero is just going to use those Argos cameras, wait around. And now he's got his teammates. They're going to relay information. This is a nightmare position to find yourself in. If you're Rift, have to take that fight. Has to rely on those mechanics. Takes so much damage now. And with 20 seconds left to go, he wins it. The peak comes out. You've got to play that patiently, but Rift, on a single point of HP, closes out the round.
Damn. That's my analysis. It's actually not. I'll dramatic effect with it. So we'll put that in there. But a huge round cut out from Emergence and Aerial Arise, because Emergence, they were constantly in that driving seat until about that 1 minute mark where we saw the rest of them die. Cool Shiesty, huge performance coming out from you to be able to find those kills. The roam clear. That kill coming out from Talon, incredible as well. You find that opening frag, you take it with a Jaeger. Suddenly, Wood Sosa, that heavy impact player, has just been taken away off the board completely. You're looking at Adapt to try and stem the flow, but Adapt has to play it safe. You don't have someone to play with again. And if you don't win your gunfight, simply put, you're in a 5 versus 3. You might as well give up the site at that point. You might as well give up the map control. They start to play it safe. They wait. Mirror windows. deployable shields. They have it all. They have all they need. At the end of the day, it came down to a very nice performance given out from Rift. I feel Cool Shicey in that plant position, you maybe could have tried to get it in that back left corner when you think about it from the actual post plan. But when you go back to when they're actually trying to plan, you're thinking, okay, well, he's over towards trophy side, statue side. Where do I go for the plan? A lot of factors at play. Very nicely played for both teams. But otherwise, just able to win it out. I doubted Rift, I'll be honest, and I'm gonna doubt this site choice a little bit. Aerial Rise on match point. They are ready to win this and close it all down. But first of all, 5 bodies stand in their way, and potentially one of the most awkward sites to defend, as Spiker will be trying to get a kill. Not gonna happen.
There's certainly an art to defending a site like this. It's, gonna be a tricky one, certainly indeed. That previous round is something that I think is going to play on the mind of Emergence, knowing that they were so close to being able to confirm that, get that victory. You just gotta be concerned for them in this position now. Match point, backs against the wall. You haven't really found a level of success in the attacking side that you would want of. Spiker is just sending some kind of wild shots off in the ether, perhaps trying to gamble that someone's head's gonna line up perfectly. He can get that kill, but the drones are there, so they're gonna try and get this information. Talon's gonna get popped through that wall, and well, they haven't seen a single defender yet, and they're already taking damage and already being slowing down. That concussion grenade is gonna land perfectly, but Spiker can just drop the hatch. The window's opened up. He should be punished for it. He's gonna take even more damage, but still in this fight, still alive, still to relocate. Well, Wood Souza is going to peek the main stairs, get one for his efforts, but traded off by Talon right there. So a 4 versus 4, very rapid engagement, but still very limited amount of control gathered inside of Study, and they're tentative to push in. They're still cautious. And that's because Vigil, Spiker, who went back upstairs, thrown on the Wi-Fi router on his backpack, and now can just sit and while ice in his veins. Surely spots the player out. No, well, a very awkward staring contest indeed. But Shizey puts him in the grave as Spiker falls finally in this round. A minute 20 remains, and the advantage in player count sits with Emergence.
Yes, I'm looking at this angle. This is one where a yellow ping ends it all. And that yellow ping isn't going to be coming from the defenders. Org is going to be playing down a piano, looking to slow things down. Smoke canister goes off and takes damage, but doesn't find the kill. That suppressed SMG, we've seen it can do a lot of work. It can really put the hurting into somebody, but right now it's not going to be happening. This red stairs position, tentative, though definitely the right word. We're going to see Cool Shicey able to find that kill onto Adept. That entry fragger from hell, and just sent someone to it. Now those red stairs, that wall's going to open up. Org and Rift, though, they're going to have to try and win out something huge. Shicey gets taken down. The pre-fire goes over towards that vault side, but it's not going to land the shot. Org has a huge opportunity to collapse on that kill, find Shicey and stop that revive. But Talon, he needs somebody on that camera. He needs someone to give him the information. Nobody's there. The plant is going down, though. That red stairs can't be held. But the defenders don't know this. Very, very uncomfortable to push. Rai will confirm that kill onto Rift. And now Org has to win it out with 4 kills. They know the plant's coming down. Oh! Shicey finished off with the flick and a half. Now Org just has to find 3 more kills and has to pick them off with the one-on-one engagements. This can happen. Walks in towards this library area. Smoke canister will go off to do that damage through the wall. But Talon's there to keep Emergence in it and will find that kill. 1 versus 3 post plan. It was possible, but when you look at a crossfire like that, very improbable with it. I'm using my words now.
That site is a very, as we mentioned, unobscure, a difficult one to defend, and I've seen it done very few times successfully, but the tools to do that successfully just weren't getting brought out. You need a castle to give you an extension, and you can play a very open style of defense when you have some of those lines of sight shored up with castle barriers on those doorways and wall frames, and have ADSs and eyes to defend it. None of that was available for Aerial Rise. They just kind of went, we're going to go somewhere a little bit different. We're going to rely on our mechanics like we do everywhere else. Again, they have strategies for all their sites, but they are a very mechanic-leaning team. I think we can all kind of agree on that from the performance we've seen so far. And I think that site leaves a lot to be desired, even when you have an optimal setup. It was very tricky fights to take, and ultimately Emergence played it very well to get that. It was a very sketchy beginning. All things considered, took a very long time to get that control of Study, but once they kind of threw away the cobwebs, finally found their rhythm, they looked to grow into the round, and ultimately they were able to get that successful plant off and hold off. Sort of a very, very good crossfire indeed.
Yeah, which is why I'm not surprised to actually return here, because they're going to AVG and they're simply saying, well, we're aerial rise. You know, we can win this site out. We might have got a bit cocky, but we have the opportunity to do this. Now, one thing I want to talk about with it is Spiker on the roam, as Vigil in the last round didn't have that much impact when you think about fragging potential, and certainly hasn't in the game in general. However, the Vigil play, running around, pre-firing, using the gadget, in all these different random positions, you say maybe hoping somebody's there? I think yes, but for a different reason. You're making people aware that somebody's there. That's what Org's doing, not able to find a kill, but definitely emergence. They're going to be watching their back. They're going to be worried about these runouts. Aerial Arise, they want to win. They want the kills. They want to get it. And running out, they're not afraid to do exactly that. That's why Jax is checking all these different angles. Right now, Aerial Arise, they are looking to play a little bit safer. Some information's coming out on the drone, but nothing to really act upon at the moment. They need to take control of this study trophy statue, and they can't really get too aggressive. They can't jump anywhere in that checklist. They need to do everything by the book. 3 players over towards that 90 going to be a huge obstacle to clear. Flying cameras will be going down, and Aroma will be waiting in the wings on the bottom floor. This is shaping up to be a beautiful round when it does execute, but only one player has been spotted on 90. Rift is going undetected as Adapt's going to start taking some damage. Talon's going to open things up with a kill onto Org. The 90 area just became a lot more attacker-sided, and Aerial Arise, they're going to have to pull back. Rift is going to have to act upon this roam very, very soon.
I love the use of these Argos cameras, really acting to shore up these flanks and make it difficult to come up these staircases and take the fight to the attacking side once these front lines have formed up. But now instead of 90, the next puzzle to solve is how to get control, and Spiker just hanging out the window towards the balcony, DMR in hand, and Son of Finn rappels up into a waiting trap. Wood Souza gets aggressive on the 90 corridor, finds the kill on the Ray Ray, and looks for even more, and a beautiful pre-fire with the AUG gets him his second kill in this round, and now Talon in a 1 versus 4 to keep his team alive in this matchup here on Villa. It's going to be a very tricky task indeed, all the guns bearing onto him, and while Adapt didn't leave much to the imagination, wrapping that up very quickly here in round 11. And that's going to be Aerial Arise claiming victory here on Villa.
Okay, well, you're looking at this and you're seeing a 7-4 victory, and I'm saying, okay, well, Villa, now you've played Synthetic, if you're Emergence, and you've just played Aerial Arise, two of arguably one of the stronger teams coming into this league, and you've given good games. I mean, yeah, it wasn't the best scoreline that you wanted if you're Emergence in that game, but looking forward at this early stage that you talked about, it's a good position to be in. You're showing that you can at least be a good mid-table team because you can put up with the best of them at the moment. The question is just knuckling down on those little things. It's about this roam clear. It's about kind of having a plan of what's going to happen as soon as things start to go wrong. For example, when you get run out on, what are you going to do? When you lose that opening player, how are you going to do that? I think just a little bit of work and maybe even some theory crafting about how to deal with aggressive teams, because it felt Emergence, they kind of played it by the ear, and that's not really something you can do as a defender. You need to have a kind of plan if there is an aggressive team. You need to know, at least, even if you're going to get more aggressive, get more turtled, you have to have something there to deal with them and respond with it. Aerial Arise, though, well, the passion was flowing through their veins. They wanted kills, they wanted some flashy kills, and that's exactly what they got. Able to get a 7-4 victory over Aerial Arise.
It was a very dominant, I mean, it was just a very, very strong performance from Aerial Arise. I mean, I think the best way I can summarize that in general, at least for on their attacking side, I feel that it's something that that was a level of aggression I haven't seen many teams pull, and I've not seen a level of aggression smother out a defense like what we just witnessed. When Aerial Arise were able to kind of get the map in their rhythm, find every kill they needed, and set themselves up in really strong positions, it looked like the defense had no answer because every gunfight was being taken. There was constant gunfire happening, and everyone was always in an engagement. Such a unique style, a very interesting approach to playing it. But we saw Emergence had the ability to adapt in that round where they played it absolutely perfectly. So they certainly show that they can hang with teams like Aerial Rise. And Siege is a game where it's a death by 1,000 paper cuts. If they can learn from these mistakes, they'll just come back stronger and stronger and build upon these. But Aerial Rise, what a showing from them.
Yeah, they're going to be winning out our first game of the evening, but do not fret, because we do have another one. We're going to be having Lemic. I love the name. It's beautiful. It rolls off the tongue. And they're going to be going up against the Dallas Vendetta squad. The newer squad that myself in particular were watching a week ago on Wednesday. I'm very excited to get into it, but, well, we're going to have to wait that a little bit. So do not go anywhere. Maybe grab a snack, grab a drink, maybe even tweet out something. Maybe call out some of the players that you saw today. But most importantly, be back here in about 5 minutes. welcome back to the Upsurge Premier League. I'm McCready. Joining me today is Whippet, and we're having a nice soothing session of Rainbow Six Siege, which Aerial Alliance they didn't really want to follow on, but fortunately, the next two teams, well, they've got the script that, for legal obligations, was a joke. The teams in question, well, that's going to be Lemic and Dallas Vendetta. Both teams so far, they've had a bit of a questionable start to the series. Lemic, they've I believe the last time we saw them, they shown up and weren't even aware they were a team, from what I heard. So, questionable things. The question is whether they've decided to fully commit, whether they want to actually get involved and do stuff. But joining me as ever is going to be Whippet. He'll be answering all the questions, but the question is, will it be good?
No.
Thank you for watching. Good night. No, we're going to be watching these two teams come together and... Okay. Right.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh, it's always a blast having you on the cast, Whippet, and I absolutely love it, and I will miss it. But most importantly, the maps that we're going to be seeing today, I think, are going to be very important. The last time we saw Lemic, I think, was on Clubhouse, and it didn't go well. Dallas Vendetta, though, last week, myself in particular, they had a really strong performance on Kaf Dostoyevsky, and I believe it was against Toys, if I'm not mistaken. They had a really strong start, and I feel like as we go into these map bans, they're only gonna go from strength to strength. On paper, I'd go for Dallas Vendetta. Lemic, though, they've had the opportunity to get some time in and really work out what they want to do. Constantly Kaf, though, and the map bans will start us off, in the next couple of bans they're going to follow as well. Whippet, why don't you take us through the rest? What you want to see, what you're hoping for?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm hoping for Chalet to be the map we go to, and well, Coastline's next to go. Okay, we're getting closer. We're creeping and crawling away up to seeing Chalet. One of my favorite maps is Clubhouse next to go as well. Don't tease me like this, right? Dallas Vendetta, don't ban it.
Oh,
Okay,
it's all down to Lemic
okay,
now.
Lemic,
Oh.
please, I beg. Yes, yes. They ban out Oregon, one of the most overplayed maps we've ever seen, and bring us to Chalet. We can have a lovely skiing trip up in the French Alps now to go into the newest map in our Rainbow Six Siege competitive pooling, and I think one of the most interesting ones to keep your eye on. One interesting thing is this map has been very much taken up by LATAM. They love this map. It is one of the most played maps in that region as of right now. And I think it's going to be a lot of this development is coming from that region. It's such, I think, a unique map. It doesn't like in a way it blends so many key features of other maps, and I love Chalet. I love its addition in the competitive pool.
I feel like it's one of those maps that you say it's interesting for a lot of reasons. And I feel like it's like when teams added theme park. Okay, you look at it and on paper it's one of those where you kind of think how. But then you really get into it, and you're suddenly like, okay, right, I'm seeing what's going on. Chalet, I think a lot of teams, it's kind of in that sweet spot. Oregon teams took to, like, ducks to water, whereas with Theme Park, it took a teams, they'd get comfortable in Oregon, then they start learning Theme Park realistically. But Chalet, it's a map that kind of sits in the middle for me, and I'm looking at it for my second ever cast, but what I've seen so far is a lot of variation, a lot of innovation coming through, most importantly. Vertical play, that's going to be key, especially when you think about that kitchen defense. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've seen so far, you're looking at the master bedroom, then kitchen dining, then over towards bar games in your kind of typical order of sight. Mainly because that vertical play is there. And that garage, it doesn't get as picked as much as it does in ranked, unranked, casual, purely for the fact that, well, you can get the breach open, which is what a lot of people do, but a well-coordinated push through that kitchen trophy side and through that old garage really shuts things down. And when you add into the mix, well, maybe somebody playing down those blue stairs, suddenly the attackers, they have a lot of control to really start moving through. Then there's hatches, then there's a lot of things to think about. But Dallas Vendetta, they're going to be on the defense.
One big thing about Chalet, and kind of in terms of all the sites available to you, is that bar gaming inside of Latin America, where we've seen the most play of this map, has the highest defender win rate. If you think about the old version of this map, how this would be a nightmare site. If you got this in ranked and had to go here on overtime match point, pain, suffering. You didn't want to do it. But now it's one of the strongest sites because that stock area, just above the stairs that go down to that basement, that's not exposed to verticality. It's so easy to bunker up and play a strategy around that. As again, the verticality available from library down inside of that pool room is very dangerous if you don't get control of it. And the entirety of that upstairs is a factor in defending that side. It's such a power play, such a strong side. I really want to start seeing teams bring that more as a secondary or a primary. And it's something that I would like to see it getting brought into more teams' kind of lexicon of strategies a lot sooner
Mm.
because how powerful that really is. We're seeing inside of T1 Latin America exactly how well organized teams with the resources that site gives you can make it a bit of a fortress.
Yeah, and let's not talk about fortresses or anything that might give me any PTSD there with it, so I appreciate that, but no thank you, not today. I think Chalet, it's one of those maps where a lot of teams will go to it and say, well, this is the game plan we have in mind, but then they come up against a team that will have just put that little bit more thought into it, and they wipe the floor with them. I feel like it's one of those where the defenders, they set a lot of the pace, they set a lot of how the gunfights take place, for example. You think about a kitchen defense, the main point of contention is actually going to be that piano hallway or that piano area, not the site itself, not that top floor CEO area, because the teams, they don't want the defenders. They're not going to let you get to that position. A lot of the utility is stacked towards that. I'm talking Arunis, I'm talking Malusis, I'm talking everything at this point. So that's where you're going to want to put most of your utility. When you think about that bar games, it's a site that I felt what you talked about. It's a map, it's a site where you hated before, but suddenly you go to it and you think that stock area as well. If Mirror doesn't get banned, well, suddenly that has a lot more viability just to play a whack-a-mole game. There's no other word for it. You just go peeking, swinging everything. You can get a mirror window on that wall as well. That's absolutely huge. We are going to be jumping into the game. The bends will dictate a lot about how this game plays out. First of all, though, I'm expecting to see a Thatcher. Otherwise, it just gets too attacker-sided.
Certainly so. One note you did touch on is that potency of a mirror in stock in bar gaming. I wonder, will the Spaniards slip through the ban phase? There's lots of options on a map like Chalet where you want to get rid of. You can get rid of Arunis, you can get rid of Goyos. There's so many options. The Malisi Banshees, of course, are another nasty pesky thing to get or deal with. So lots of options. So we might see that mirror slip through. Nomad getting banned out by Lemicki is, I think, a very sensible choice. This map has a fair number of rotations available from roam presence and can have a massive impact on a round, so being able to choke those out with those air jabs is a massive benefit. And our first defender will be that Valkyrie, so Mira might be able to slip through, but Valkyrie on a map like this makes massive sense. Getting the information early on where the push is coming from, what the ideal strategy is coming from the offensive side, can be such a benefit for the defensive side. So gone in the ban phase. Don't have to worry about looking for those cameras at all.
Yeah, that's a very important point to touch upon. And I think, honestly, it's been very enjoyable to see so many bands of Nomad coming through, purely because we're looking at defenders wanting to get more aggressive. They realize the 20-second meta, well, bunkering in just doesn't work in the same way anymore. So getting aggressive, having these flanks, these huge impact plays, that's incredible. Forcing the attackers to, most importantly, commit a lot of utility and at least a player to watching these flanks, that's even better. Lemicki, though, they will be taking away that Valkyrie, and we talked about this on Villa. A lot of potential for C4's passive information. It requires an IQ pick or a very, very keen eye. There's a lot of nooks and crannies you can hide it in. On the flip side, Dallas Vendetta, that Wamai ban, that's quite important. I'll let you get onto your point, but the Wamai, it comes down to what I said. When you see Dallas Vendetta, they take it away. They don't have that. They're able to catch that utility, but they don't have it anymore. They need these Jaegers to be strategically placed, and suddenly you're thinking they don't want to play on site anymore. They're going to play more aggressive. Now, what you did want to talk about, bar gaming.
Yep.
First sight, and that six-pick takes away the mirror. I think it could have probably gone the other way around, and Lemick might not have been any the wiser, because they see that Frost like, well, that could be any site. That could be a kitchen dining. But now they see the mirror, I think the jig is up already. The question is how they want to play this Frost, because clearly they've got something in mind with it.
Well, clearly, I mean, Frost is an operator that ever since this map was introduced, I have seen played so much. Because there's a lot of window entry points, lots of positions where you're going to be worried about a variety of angles on your initial entry. So the last thing you might want to do is look down and try and deal with those welcome mats. And so it does make a lot of sense. Frost also has a pretty decent SMG, a secondary shotgun for this opening up of destruction. I would draw attention. Downstairs, you saw that opening being made in stock with a single reinforced panel. What that's going to do is allow a player to sit in that position and have a viability to fight. And a very rapid push coming from Trophy so far. 2 bodies already piling in. And they're looking to try and get this opening kill early. Perhaps to ignore the entire upstairs presence, as Hashtag might be the front line of this fight on that Malusi. Has to worry about it. And well, it looks like they went unnoticed for the time being. As now we see the players going up Solarium stairs, being able to start trying to take this control. Hashtag perhaps tries to look for this opening engagement. But I think right now, biding their time, just staying alive in this fight and waiting for a better moment to strike is the good call, because as these players go up the Solarium, make their presence known inside a master bedroom, that Malusi can just crawl up those stairs and pounce when they're least expected.
That's something very important I think we'll talk about. Waiting, biding time. Barring is over by that main stairs and you have a player on 90 to contest them, but like you said, there's going to be a point where these attackers, they're going to start getting on those cameras, they're going to start focusing on this attack, and while Barring's going to be able to find the opening kill onto Aquino, taking away that Frost. But looking at this, Smack's able to get a refrag, will take away Mouse. That's your Yana removed. The diffuser is currently down. And Dallas Vendetta, they've got a very typical hold here. They have that top floor in library presence, and they have a player on top blue stairs, utility supporting it, and Barring able to find another kill, just seemingly picking it apart at the moment. Right now, though, some wonderful observers pointing out how close are these players. Looking at this right now, we're seeing a flashbang. Well, it looks like they kind of know, but does Relapse know? No, it's got to be all the way down to a rotate to be able to pick off Hashtag. 2 versus 4, Mickey, they are looking quite strong at the moment. They're picking apart the defenders. They're letting them take these one-on-one engagements. They're just winning it. Now we're seeing the rest of Mickey. They're starting to capitalize on this. They're working together. They're peaking together to clear this utility, because doing so, simply put, it's a numbers game now, I think. The frag grenade will start to get prepped, go to try and deal with that shield, but well, it is actually going to be taken away. The ADS isn't going to work. Nuke will be able to burn it out, but Reactive is going to be the one finding a kill to bring us into a 2 versus 3. Very aggressive Jaeger play is needed on these stairs to really stop the brunt of this attack. But the question is, how long before somebody goes for a roam? Somebody tries to deal with something, and that person is going to be a Rooney, trying to move around and find something, but it's not there. Mickey, they're going to walk onto site. That vertical play is not going to be used at the moment. Res Reactive's able to find a kill, collapsing onto the site now. The plant does go down. It's all about the post plan in a 2 versus 2. How have they got away with this? You've got Reactive trying to find a kill onto Newt. Will be able to do so, finding their 3rd kill. But right now, Relapse, you've just got to play it safe. You've just got to hold. You've got to wait. They're playing vertical. They're playing around. A lot of audio is going to be given to you, and you don't have any line scans left. But you don't need to. Pretty good sense of where they are. You're able to find one player. Now you just need one more. Hot on the heels. Reactive wants a 4th kill, but isn't able to get it. Mickey are able to pick up that 1st round with the plant going down.
From entry to mid-phase to execution, Mickey looked very strong here on Chalet. A great awareness of this line to rotate down towards that new connection corridor. And we saw that Jaeger. So many positions to check. Had to look up, look left and right. It was going to be a very tricky position to identify the threat and get your gun drawn up and ready for that engagement. Mickey, a very strong showing in this opening round here on Chalet, but can they continue that momentum moving in to this master bedroom site? So for many teams, this has been the core. This has been the site everyone feels the most comfortable on, because it's, I think, one of the easier sites to set up on Hashtag. I like this a lot. Bringing this pulse, bringing that cardiac scanner is going to be a very defining factor of this round. He's going to be a little bit, sketchy if he plays directly on the floor below at the very start of this, so we imagine he's going to be lurking around. But in the dying seconds of this round, if he can set himself inside of kitchen, use that cardiac sensor to get the information on where these plants are going down, he can deny it. And if you look at the flooring across the office and the main master bedroom, that is all soft. So that C4 can land on all that flooring. You know, if you vault up on the bed and desk, of course you'll be safe, but when time is mounting and the pressure's there, that decision can be a very hard one to make, so that will be something defining.
Yeah, that's something I want to talk about. You look exactly where we're looking for Aquino right now. That position, that little quad area, that's where a lot of teams, they just kind of walk into main lobby. They're getting Ash or Zafir. They'll open that floor, clear the utility. That's why we see a lot of teams start to play a little bit behind that, with that shield, behind that K9 door. Couple of ADSs supporting it, and this bottom floor hold. If you can at least kind of open that little bit above that wall, then you can start putting pressure on them. LeMickey, though, they're going to start entering over towards this bar games area. And doing so, very quick entrance. They're going to try and get this room clear dealt with over towards that library as well. A multi-pronged attack, and I like what I'm seeing so far. They're working together, they have a game plan, and they, by sure, are executing it.
This is a really, really well-defined initial entry point. And again, looking at the extension downstairs, they're playing around the pulse on hashtag right now. Reinforcements used inside of kitchen. Saria gates to back this up as well. So they're kind of fighting a battle on two fronts right now, holding on the kitchen. But this is going to burn time from the offensive side. The attackers have to clear this utility. Saria gates, reinforced walls, all of that must be cleared away to have a very successful push in. Just in the corner of your screen, when we were on that smoke's perspective, all three of those ADSs have been deployed to protect Piano. So there's nothing to cover up the pulse down below. So once this wall is opened up, a lot of pressure can start to get mounted and displace them. But that's exactly what LeMickey want. They want all the pressure downstairs so the time can be burnt. And it looks right now, they're going to have their, it looks like they're not going to have their will as the push is going directly towards the site, but got a pulse down below. He's got that C4. He's got the information. So you're forced to make a gamble between these two high priority situations. And this angle deep by Piano is going to be a nightmare. And look at the wall of information being relayed. It's a ridiculous amount of hashtag. You're just calling everything out for his teammates. And LeMickey, well, they know every step they take is monitored. Every decision they make will be known. Relapse is going to use his utility, but there's so many ADSs. It took 4 pieces of separate utility to finally start burning away that reinforced or bulletproof camera. And now the ADS is refreshed and that grenade gets burned away. But Newt's going to use his AK-12 to the best visibility and find Aquino. But Smack is there. The kill hops out with that Roni, but the plant's attempt is there. But the C4 is still in play. Reactive gets that kill. And there's the C4, but it misses! Oh no!
The vertical play, it's got to come in huge now, but Nas and Newt are able to quickly get kills onto the board. Right now we're looking at hashtag being taken away, trying to retake, and now Smack in a 1 versus 3 has to try and find something. We'll move into this master bedroom area. Pre-fire's going through the wall. You have to pre-fire everything. Very little information. That pulse is gone, and Mouse is getting aggressive. Mickey Mouse on the board, finding those kills. Huge play coming out of there, and very well done from LeMickey. Catch 22 doesn't even begin to describe what we saw from that setup from DV at the point. They had that information down below. Like you said, they either give themselves up to C4s, to vertical play, or they waste time and deal with it. LeMickey pushed in. They dealt with Piano. They started moving forward. They found a couple of kills, and they got the plant down, but then the C4 missed. That was the biggest mistake in Dallas Vendetta. That round could have gone such a different way if they got that kill off. Suddenly the plant went down, a post plant for LeMickey, and they have the player advantage. They just need to watch these angles. They found the pulse, and then they found Smack. Honestly, that was a close one. It should have gone Dallas Vendetta's way, in my opinion. But LeMickey were able to win it out. Returning to this bar games area, that mirror isn't being brought out. Aquino does have that cross. I think it's mainly because of this deployable shield. They want to really bolster up this top floor hold. That's where they wasted the time for LeMickey and wasted those players. But it wasn't enough. They need to keep it going, and that's the biggest thing for me, right?
I couldn't agree more. I'm almost still sitting in a little bit of shock to that C4. With the amount of commitment to that play, the
afterglow, man, it'll get you.
Perfect synced up reinforcement on the corner of that office wall, by the way. You love this things you love to see.
Beautiful plays all round, honestly.
Truly is. But right now, we're going to see LeMickey do the very same entry they've done every single time. And now this is perhaps a little bit of a warning sign. They've pushed in with this exact same entry before. if this is read into, and hashtag seemingly has got that extra bit of information, that wherewithal to know that the entry is happening from this position, if they lose bodies early in this round, it could be catastrophic. And while the yellow pings are there, Malusi, the front lines here, this is going to be a must-win engagement, but no, held in place by the Lion Scan. And well, that Vector 308 leaves no prisoners as hashtag first to fall.
It's that position where you look at it and you simply say, well, they know where you are. Don't worry about a Lion Scan. Right now, though, Relapse is going to be caught sprinting. No more Lion Scans to worry about. Hashtag is avenged. Object able to find that first kill so far. Dallas Vendetta, they're playing the tit-for-tat game. But they've lost quite a bit of map control. They have let Mickey just 2 rounds, 2 minutes on the left on the clock. They have the CO area. They're able to open things up. Very fast progression from them. Very little loss. Quite a bit gained. Big thing is, though, is Dallas Vendetta. They still have a lot of opportunities to slow them down. They have that crossfire that we talked about before on balcony and on that, hallway. But the Mickey, they kind of ran into this last round and just went down below. They found a kill on one player, went down below and caught them off guard. Are we going to see something like again? Probably not. But they have a lot of potential. Utility is going to get used to deal with this shield all the way down by those blue stairs, and in doing so, we're going to see Reactive not be able to give away that information as well. We isn't going to be able to spot players that are crossing unless you're taking a gunfight, which you're just not able to win just yet.
Nuke's going to be able to get that kill. Reactive falls 4 versus 3 ensues. That's going to be an advantage with Lamicki. And they're trying to make a lot of progression pushing in here, but again, it almost looks like they're trying to attack this office side because they have to clear this extensive hold. And with only 45 seconds remaining, they're going to be under lots of pressure. Smack in a great position inside of library. They'll put up a final stand, hold the line, but dropping that hatch. And well, very good timing indeed, dropping just as Boring swings that corner. Object is going to find a wonderful shot from those stairs onto that player who's just vaulting in. Verticality getting brought up by Boring. 25 seconds remain. The execution has to come now with 3 versus 3 to ensue. It's going to be a battle, a brawl. Who's going to come out on top? This position deep inside of stock, so fortifiable. And we said verticality can't displace these people, and they can fall back and use this as a safety, a refuge now with 10 seconds left to go. There's Object on blue, finds one more, but Newt retaliates, but with such little time left. And now at a 1 versus 2, surely it's all but lost.
What?
But no!
Boring? What? Why are you peeking that? No, you don't let that happen.
No. No.
No.
No. No. No. No. No.
I did not consent, Whippet. What the hell just happened?
Dallas
Boring on the
Vendetta.
top floor through the hatch.
That was Dallas Vendetta have just grabbed defeat from the jaws of victory.
Whippet? Okay. You know Team Empire and Consular, okay? You can't probably kind of getting where I'm getting at what I'm wanting to say. But when they were on the diffuser with 7 seconds left, and it didn't work, and everyone felt robbed because it's actually 7.005 seconds or whatever. That's what we just saw. Lamicki, the mick of time, able to find that kill and keep themselves in it. Shocking us and really making me excited. This is a team that struggled the first time we saw them. Now it's a team that just grace under pressure sums them up, Whippy.
They've just grown as a team from their last performance, and they've been so dominant here on the attacking side of Chalet. It's a pretty 50-50 map in the current climate because it's still new, but it's a little bit intrinsically attacker-sided. It's an interesting dynamic, but that was a dying breath save from Boring with that rifle. I'm still a little bit mesmerized by that. The fact, you gotta feel for Dallas Vendetta. As much as we play this up of you shouldn't have peeked, you just gotta feel. It pulls on your heartstrings so close to breaking what seems to be like a runaway train of pressure from Lamicki so far. As now, well, can they perhaps find that recovery now? Banshee's gonna be placed a little bit exposed, nothing to catch it, so That's going to be free real estate to burn that away. Progression in towards taking piano gets a little bit smoother. But all these Saria gates, I like the placement. It's going to be a nightmare to fight with. And the one on that piano window as well forces you that extra bit of burning. And man, 3 ADSs. This shield is going to persist for a long, long time.
Yeah, remember, you've got to clear 4 pieces of utility denial and get that deployable shield taken away within 10 seconds of that first shot going through. Realistically, utility is going to get burned by this Sophia. Will be taking away that camera, but does not really realize what's going on right now. Neither does Newt, being taken away by Reactive over on that balcony, being taken by a quick peek. Now, I'm going to take this moment to talk about that last round. Dallas Vendetta, they played it very well. They played a very unpredictable game. And Mickey, they were able to just find... They were able to find it out the jaws of defeat, but those jaws had to get there first. And Surya Gate will be put back on, and Lamicki, I think their own game, the fact that they're able to play for refrags and they're not playing as strictly positional, that's a huge thing for them right now. Kitchen Dining. They need to stop this piano, and they need to stop CEO being taken. It's been opened up, but they need to stop people getting in. Right now, Reactive is going to be the big problem. But Akinio is going to be taken away. Reactive doesn't have support. And there it is. He's able to find 1 kill, but Barring finally makes an entrance. Isn't able to find a kill onto the Jaeger. A minute left on the clock. Things are going to start ramping up. The vertical play will start leading us up, but Smack's going to use it as the other way and finds a kill. Oh no, Yams, you gotta hit those, and they will. Able to find a kill onto Smack. A 2 versus 2, but the attackers are split apart. So the defense, a very loose crossfire, and the information will give hashtag the kill. Now, it's all down to Barring on the top floor. We've seen them with 0 seconds left find 2 kills. Now you have 30 and 2 kills to find. Should be an easy task. But right now, taking damage in this hatch, it just seemingly isn't. A drop now will kill you, but a rotate might kill you on time. How are you going to play it? Vertical play. You're going to get that breaching charge. A distraction goes through, and the drop will follow. Barring starts to move through the rotate. Pre-fire comes out, but hashtag, you just play it safe. Object goes for the swing. Dallas Vendetta, it took them 4 rounds of losses to put a win on the board, but here they are.
Better late than never, some will suggest, finally getting their opening round on the board. And it was a sweaty palms moment, all things considering, as Barring is shown in that round on Barstock. He can work some magic with limited time on that clock, but ultimately, the odds were not in his favor this time, as that's going to be round at number 1 for Dallas Vendetta, moving into their 5th round here in the defensive split, and Master Bedroom will be the site of choice for them. So we've seen how effective this site can be, or at least the default holes that occur around it. And once again, we're going to be seeing that pulse brought out to me instantly. That's going to fire off the synapses in my brain to remind me that they brought this strategy before, and they reinforced the entirety of those walls down in Kitchen to make that a bunker setup. They'll hold that verticality and rely on that cardiac sensor blatant around the denial plant. We'll forget about the fact that C4 missed in that example, but perhaps he'll be able to be a little bit more accurate this time. Amaru. You see it? You see it? See this Amaru? Oh. How long? How long? How many channel points you willing to bet?
I'll give you a good 3, I think, at this point, but Amaru, relapse. Honestly, I'm looking at this, I'm saying, yeah, sure, this is actually a big opportunity. Dallas Vendetta, they've really struggled to deal with aggression, and they've really struggled to set the pace. Lamicki, they've been in the driver's seat, and we talked about it before. This is a map where the defenders really have an opportunity to just shut things down. For example, think about that piano in that last round. So much utility was there, you would not expect Aquino to be taken away as early as they were, for that vertical play to take place, and the top floor to be cleared for about a minute and a half. That's not what you want to see. And Amaru can take control of that top floor very early on, but going down below, oh no, that hatch is open, but there is somebody nearby. They might know, oh, hashtag's not looking down, doesn't know, and neither does Smack. The positioning right now, they're offering this pulse things to look at, things to worry about, but right now we're just seeing Relapse walking around up the west main. The crouched Aruni is going to be huge, but we're going to see Barring finding the kill on the swing. Newt's going to be able to find another one. A 3 versus 5 for the attackers. Lamicki is set to give themselves at least 4 rounds on the board. Only 3 kills will keep them away from that. Dallas Vendetta, they have vertical control, but they've lost control of sight. They're in a retake scenario, and Lamicki, they're looking almost infallible at this point.
That was one of the most clean and crisp executions and collapses on an extended roam presence I've ever seen. That was played to perfection. And as you mentioned, with only 3 more kills to find to get this round in the bag, they're looking pretty in this position. As now Solarium control, that's theirs. They can use as a massive staging ground, and no more will they have to worry about that pulse down below relaying information or acting as an ever-present threat to that plant. They've already got that threat out of action very quickly in this round. A minute 10 remains, and they haven't found that transition piece. They haven't found that one pick to give them a catalyst. But it looks like Relapse is going to be that player. Will they spot the player, that Jaeger, playing by that bed, or will the Garo hook just be that cue, that catalyst to launch it? Yes, sir, it is. In goes, in goes.
No, the trade though. You've got to benefit that. A down will come through and a kill for Mouse, and suddenly Reactive all in their own, and Piano gets taken down. Lamicki just dictating and dominating. Fear the rodent or fear the goddamn non-sponsored mouse. They are here to play siege. Dallas Vendetta 1 round on the defense. They need to make it 2 if you can look at this map and say they're going to win. They need something on the board. You need 1 more for us to even look at it and say you've got a chance. We need something huge coming out from Dallas Vendetta. Lamicki, they've already provided. Dallas Vendetta, they need to put up or shut up. Look at that round history. Whip it. Holy moly.
Oh, man, the biggest highlight of that entire round was that execution, the clear, the pinch, exactly what Smack is saying in chat. The clear that extended roam presence, it was done flawlessly. And considering the fact that they were completely bewildered by it the first time they witnessed it, and now all of a sudden, in a few rounds' time, they developed and planned and prepped for a fantastic, exact pinch to cut off what was ultimately the artery, the aorta, holding that strategy together for Dallas Vendetta. Supreme credit. Whoever the IGL of Lamicki is, take a bow. Take a bow for that one, because, or whoever came up with that strategy, fantastic play from them, because without that, that round could have been a very different story. And I think just from that demonstration and the entire package they've sent out so far, Lamicki have definitely done their homework on Chalet. Spent some time in scrims and developing it through dry runs, etc. Because it looks like they just have a deeper understanding of the map so far. As round number 6 begins to roll on through, the final defensive round from Dallas Vendetta, can they get another round on the board? As once again, it went to Bar Gaming.
Yeah, and there's not that many changes in this lineup. We're seeing the Aruni come through to shut off that piano hallway. Kind of makes me worried. There's very little adaptation coming through at the moment. You have hashtag on the roam yet again. We'll take away a drone and pull back. But the big thing for me is there's very little changes. They're not really looking at this as a problem. They're saying, let's do it until it works. That's a big problem for me. Lamicki, though, they're keeping on the fresh. They're keeping different attacks. They're keeping it interesting, at least, and unpredictable for Dallas Vendetta. It's something that they did well on their roam game in 1 or 2 rounds, the one they should have won, to go alongside the one they actually did win, in my opinion. But honestly, I want to see a lot more from Dallas Vendetta. They're going at it with the same stuff, the same pushes each time. And Newt's going to start us off with a kill. That stock area, the big problem position of this site last time. Well, that's dealt with. Reactive and hashtag are looking to deal with something, but site control, it's already in Lamicki's favor. Object will find a refrag, and now the defense spring into action. We're going to see Reactive being taken away. Mouse able to down Object, and it's already a 2 versus 4. Make that a 2 versus 3. Whip it.
Very tunnel visioned on Mouse there, though. Knew that they got the player in DBNO, and they really tried to get that kill. But ultimately, that was their demise. Boring, though, trying to get aggressive on the fireplace stairs, and does so on the Smack. A very successful aggressive play, and that's going to grow the advantage now to a 3 versus 2. Lamicki, can they capitalize? Can they pounce on a weakened defensive side of Dallas Vendetta? The drop from that alibi occurs, but hashtag not fully blocked out from this smoke, but is that rotation going to be even viable? Yellow pings are relaying the alibi, and well, not long for this world as Yams finds that killer now in a 1 versus 3 post-plant situation. Hashtag what work can that MP5 do? Decides to try and clear upstairs, retake these positions, but this is going to be a nasty fight indeed. Looks for the red ping, and there it is, but an awful fight around the display case, and Barring, well, takes his leave from library after collecting that kill. We find see once again LeMickey adapting, reading in the strategy, and doing exactly what they need to pick apart the strats of Dallas Vendetta to perfection. LeMickey already 5-1 your scoreline, but take a bow for some of these performances and the depth of knowledge you have brought on Chalet. This has been as close to a masterclass on a new map as you can provide.
Yeah, I feel like LeMickey right now, you said their IGL needs to take a bow, and I think that's right. This has been an entirely strat-orientated kind of domination. It looks like we're just seeing LeMickey, they're saying, right, we're going to push this way, we're going to push that way. But the coordination of the team is there. Constantly saying, okay, well, they brought in a Rooney, they're putting it over in this position. We've lost a drone finding that out. So, what are we going to do? They know that their problem area is that hallway for Piano, right? Let's just not deal with it. Let's do something they don't expect. We'll wait for the roamers to go. We won't take the gunfight with them on the bottom floor. Whether that's by design or by luck, they let Hashtag just walk away. They open up that wall. They walk up the main stairs, and they get a free kill. Suddenly, Mouse is pushed in, is able to find 1 kill, but then 2 follow on to that. You lose that player, but you've got the plan down. You've got top 4 control. You've got so much going for you. And while Barring at this point, just the king of the library hat. Or queen, I'm not exactly sure the pronouns, but honestly, it really doesn't matter. Barring is playing an incredible game so far, and the rest of LeMickey, they're keeping pace. Dallas Vendetta, though, going to the attack. We'll have to see
I think Supreme Emperor of the hatch. I think the plays that have happened around that hatch have been...
Dare I say? God Emperor? Oh, yeah, we're getting...
Certainly above Monarchy level. I think those plays have been. It looks like Dallas Vendetta are going to try and take a page out of LeMickey's book and go for that trophy side at least initial entry. And they're doing a lot more window repelling here on this main position as Object's opening that up to try and cut this site in half. We see a lot of blue silhouettes queuing up on that northeastern side of the building, and it's finally going to get his drone, reeling that EBR out on that Rooney. Interesting choices considering how effective we've seen that Roni being, as now Hashtag repels on in and gets control of Solarium, essentially for free. But you take another step forward, you didn't realize that yes, that bomb site, it's bar gaming. So everything you do to clear this area, you're not making as much direct progress towards that objective as perhaps you would like.
Yeah, we need to see Dallas Vendetta start to ramp up the movement. They're doing a lot of joining, and I like that, but it just feels like the kind of pace is a bit slower from LeMickey, even though they're at a point, the same point where LeMickey were a couple of times with this execute. The big thing right now is LeMickey, they're wanting to actively hold these angles. They're putting a lot of pressure on the windows. That's what we're seeing from Yams with the pre-fire onto that main window. Right now, Reactive wants to get aggressive, wants to get a kill. Is it going to happen? I'm not exactly sure. You're looking at how they want to swing it. They know there's an Aruni gate. They know that there's a Banshee. A lot of information will give it away, which is why the utility is going out instead. And with a mirror window, it's just looking horrible in the simplest way to describe it. Smack and Reactive will both take some damage, and LeMickey, they'll actually get on the hunt. They'll get aggressive. Object looks the wrong way, and Mouse is finding a kill in Piano. The refrag is there, but what the hell happened? Yana's been taken away. Your Gemini, a surefire way to clear those Aruni gates without worrying. That's horrible. Smack's gonna get down as well. You still have a player on that window, but honestly, at this point, I'm very much questioning exactly what Object's doing. Just holding these wrong angles. 40 seconds left. LeMickey completely stalled out the attack. They're just holding their position. They have all of the cards with it.
These mirror windows have just grinded this push to a halt. They have nothing presented that they can use to clear this utility away. They can't go vertically because, well, the sites below where these mirror windows are set up, and you have a lot of contention trying to fight that position. This is a masterclass from Limiki so far. Finally, the rotations are there to try and fight the players in library, but top of your screen, 14 seconds left to go. This is going to be a dive bomb directly into the objective, barring the God Emperor of the Hatch is going to find some success. Relapse gets a kill, and while a flurry of kills occurs in our feed, that's going to be Akino, the last man standing, but no! Limiki collapse superbly and find themselves on match point now. But that setup, that mirror window holding inside of library, that is the tail of the tape. That is your key to success, because the moment Dallas Vendetta saw that, the moment they were faced with that puzzle, they just didn't have the utility, the positioning to deal with it, and they let the timer burn away. They didn't take enough drastic actions to mix up their strategy, and ultimately, Mickey, they just were able to hold their ground and drag that round into the deep water and find themselves now sitting 6-1 match point advantage. And downstairs they go as Wine and Cellar and Snowmobile brought out. They're going to flash that clash, but not stake it out. Six picking onto that mutant, bringing the world renowned, the world famous Mute Mozzie combination, forcing that information to now be at a premium. And that's going to make the job of Dallas Vendetta even harder to push into this building.
And you're looking at the setup that we have right now. This is what I was talking about at the start. Limiki, they have that mute gemma. Hey, well, frag grenades. That's one way to really clear it out. And look at that line of Dallas Vendetta. There is very little frag grenades. They have frag grenades of reactive and those impact nades on the Zephyr. But Aquino hasn't been staying alive long enough to really have that much of an impact. And I feel like if you're going to this site, you appreciate this wall's going to get opened up. So a blue hole, that connector angle right there where you see that reinforcement going through right now, well, that's exactly where we're going to see the brunt of this defense, as well as maybe a bit of an extended Roman towards that old garage. But definitely some players in Wine Cellar. Right now, Dallas Vendetta, they're looking very much the underdogs. And from what we've seen so far, you can't really bet for them. It feels horrible to say with it, but that is the case. We're seeing some drastic things, like the flanks just not being watched. We're seeing Limiki getting aggressive and not suffering for it. That's why I think we're seeing Dallas Vendetta taking the approach they're on right now. Aquino on that Solarium window. Do have reactive taking some damage, and will be able to find a kill onto Barring by that hatch, but it's going to be hashtag down. You're going to need to commit another player inside, and that impact nade, though you can see that little hole in the floor, and it's just a big goddamn dinner bell for the defenders. They know somebody's there, and even if they do try and pick up reactive, they can try and find an easy kill. But remember, Whippet, this is the top floor of a bottom floor site. A minute's ticking off the clock. Mouse has not been cleared out, and we're going to see Aquino try and push in. Doesn't even see him. Oh no, this is going to end horribly. Newt's able to find a kill onto Smack to really step things up. The breach is just being ignored. The top floor is exactly where this is happening. Oh, Mouse, no! He's going to be heading to the Oak Garage as Relapse finds a kill. The hunt is on. Oh, Relapse just finds a second. Now we're just seeing this game. It's about to be set, game, set, and match. And they haven't even made it off of that second floor. Yam's able to find another kill. Relapse gets taken down. The reign of terror has ended. But the damage is done. Object is stuck in piano. A minute 20 on the clock. Mouse is getting a little hungry, scurrying around, and just decided to get a kill. Yams is able to clean things up, and Limiki take it 7-1 and whip it. That was a good game on Chalet from them.
I think describing that as a good game is perhaps a little bit underselling of what we just witnessed. This map is still so new, but I want to say that was a masterclass. From the defensive strategies they brought out to completely choke out any presence from the attacking side to what they done. They were just so superb. That pinch, that perfect example of they knew that defense setup was going to be inside a kitchen. The reinforcements that helped support that pulse with the backup of the Aruni. It's like, all right, we're going to set up a perfect pinch. We know that hatch is open. We saw that with our Amaru. Right, just someone stay here, wait for someone to drop this. We'll put pressure from West Main and the bar side. We'll collapse perfectly. When they retreat, they're going straight into Newt's AK-12. That, Limiki, whatever they've done in the last few weeks, the VOD review, the preparation, the dry runs, the scrims on the Chalet have proved dividends. what performance from them, absolutely stellar, and showing that perhaps they're a class above on Chalet, and already sometimes beginning to thrive on a map like that. Such a good performance from them. Absolutely
Hmm.
sublime.
Yeah, moving forward, they have a lot to prove on the other maps as well. They had a really, they had a really worrying performance in the first time, but Chalet, a lot of teams are probably going to want to ban that again, ban that out against them if they're watching this right now. On the flip side, Dallas Vendetta, that was a scathing reveal of how prepared you guys are for a map like Chalet. I think we're definitely at the point of saying still with this map being at the point it's at. It's like that living room website on Villa. You take it if you know you can win it. And, well,
Mhm.
that's exactly what we saw. Mickey banned out Oregon to go to Chalet. It's probably not the outcome DV wanted. DV, a lot of things need to be improved upon. Take it as a positive. There's a lot to VOD review. There's a lot to improve. And it's only one game. So you lose some points, but you still have a lot to take away. The VOD review of just your coordination, simply put. The setups are right. How you're holding them, you're giving away a lot of map control, a lot of momentum for the attackers. You're maybe not holding the right angles at the right time. For example, just watching Object hold the wrong window and let a Cade walk by him to go and kill a teammate. That's a big issue that needs to be tightened up. But on the flip side still, the Mickey, incredible performance from you guys. Just to end things out, Whip It, before we do go, are there any closing thoughts now that you've had a time to collect some of them? Mickey definitely took us by the scruff of our necks and said, we're going to have a good game.
I think kind of just to kind of echo some of the thoughts about that Chalet performance, that's just going to be a massive kind of explanation point on that performance. Going, if we go to Chalet, look how dangerous we are. And you got to think about now, they can play around this, knowing that this showing, all the teams that have seen this, they're going to ban away Chalet. That's going to create a little bit of a dynamic in that ban phase, knowing that now they have that option, perhaps take away perhaps a target ban of their opposition. But if Mickey can make such striving improvements, and when they clearly have put time and effort into developing a map to the
Hmm.
depth that we just witnessed, they could really be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they really could. That is going to be it from us tonight. However, myself and Whip It, we have gone beautiful little beds to go to and rest our wonderful, precious little heads. A huge shout out to our substitute producer, Andy Odomcast, for stepping in and just lending us out while Hypertension couldn't be here. Nova, as always, really nice observing. A lot of fun catching some of the most beautiful plays tonight that we could have hoped to see. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow when we have more games coming up.